Prep Radio. This is Chiara Nicoletti from the 76th Venice International Film Festival. I'm with Emma Tillinger and Zazie Beetz, producer and actress in Joker in competition here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Zazie, I think that your character symbolizes the possibility of empathy for Arthur's life. Like that door that could be opened, it could lead him to another direction. How did you perceive it?
I agree with you, which is why I think my character is quite important, because I think throughout this story she's one of the only people that offer any sort of semblance of empathy, whether that's just even like a pat on the shoulder or just like a nod of acknowledgement, which I think is what Arthur struggles with, is feeling completely unseen and completely essentially unsure of his own existence and identity, and to just kind of be like acknowledged on a sidewalk is would almost be enough for someone like him. So yes, I agree with you.
Emma, what were the challenges or producing a film that on paper it could be a cinecomic, but it's something else? It's an exploration of, the moment, at least I found it like that, the moment in which we all choose which direction to take in a world that lacks of empathy.
Uh-huh. I'm sorry, what was
the first?
What
were the challenges for you, like the difficulties or the pros of...
The difficulties of making the movie?
Yeah, of a film that on paper, since Joker is, belongs to the Batman comics, so technically it could be a cinecomic, but it's totally another thing.
A cinecomic?
I don't know.
I think...
comic
film.
Comic film, yeah.
Well, so, I'm not terribly familiar with comic book films, because it's just not my thing, so I haven't seen a lot of them. When Todd sent me the script, I read the script having very little knowledge of the Joker, and really it was such a beautiful exploration of this guy Arthur and his character study, and so in that regard I was really excited to produce the film. In no way did I ever see a comic book film coming out of that script. The challenges of shooting the film, or any challenges of shooting in a big city with a lot of moving parts, but and very very dark characters, and but it was great. It was great.
Zazie, what do you think about this? Being a comic film in theory, but to be something else. What did you think when you read the script, and are you familiar with that kind of movies?
I was thrilled to kind of reinterpret genre, and to take something that has become to an extent formulaic and make it and change it artistically. I think it's important to continue doing that with art and with culture. I was so excited reading the script. 10 pages in, I remember telling my partner, I was like, I have to do this movie. And I fought my way in, and I'm really so happy to be here today. But I think I have sort of one comic book background essentially, and while that was also an enjoyable experience, this was very different. I wouldn't even really call this a comic book movie, to be honest, even though it has its sort of story basis in that. I think, as Todd, he says, it's a character study of a human who happens to become the Joker.
Right.
And I, for me as an actor, it's incredibly satisfying to be able to dive into that, rather than kind of leaning on sort of maybe like the sensationalism and the fun of what makes like a classic comic book movie a comic book movie. and kind of it's fun to dig into sort of the complexity of the human mind, and for me that is what's cathartic about acting. So I love doing films like this, and I love that we sort of bent the rules on the comic structure, I suppose.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zazie Beetz, Emma
you.
Tillinger, for
Thank
being with
you.
us for Joker in competition at 76th Venice International Film Festival. This is Chiara Nicoletti for Fred, the Festival Insider.